There's a reason why Tucker Carlson talked hate towards Bill Buckley. There was a high-level discussion that happened between Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith, where they both talked about how Buckley was one of the most awful, horrible figures of the conservative movement because he was a gatekeeper, which is an interesting thing to despise him for, because, of course, Tucker Carlson has played gatekeeper from the beginning of from the days that he was interviewing Britney Spears about Pepsi.
You work with Pepsi for a long time. Candidly, just between you and me, how much Pepsi do you think you drink on an average day?
I really do like Pepsi.
Really? What's your favorite kind?
I really do. My favorite kind of Pepsi's Pepsi.
To today, Tucker Carlson has been a trendsetter on the right, deciding which opinions are allowed and which opinions are not allowed. And now today he plays gatekeeper, but just in the opposite direction against everything that he stood for before. He now stands against, because, of course, the masses being unpoliced to such a large degree that even my damn near anarchist heart has to sit back and say, well, maybe a little gatekeeping is fine. And this is the discussion we're having on the right. Are there no enemies to the right? Or can we say perhaps that if people who consider themselves to be Hitler admirers or fans or National Socialists or legitimate, agreeers with Osama bin Laden or Hamas, perhaps we do have enemies that are standing right next to us, and that really should not be tolerated as part of a coalition that seeks to govern the United States, rather than to just get clicks online and be really popular because, we're all sort of looking for the next big conspiracy podcaster who this time really is going to prove that the protocols of the learned elders of Zion were correct. And maybe Henry Ford shouldn't have apologized for it at the end of his life after he realized that it was a hoax as well. Maybe we should sit around the campfire and debate the USS Liberty and whether it was deliberate or an accident. Maybe we should revisit all of those things that have been revisited many, many times. And many of the things taught in even middle school to high school history classes, which if people like Candace Owens were paying attention to, then they would have known about things like the bombings of Dresden and the fire bombings of Tokyo in comparison to the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If they knew the amount of people that were killed in the fire bombings of Tokyo under Curtis LeMay versus the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they might have, if they had a sense of scope of history, they might be able to understand how ridiculous most of these conspiracy theories are.